consider the fortune of the person who, in effect, invented vaccination, introduced vaccination to America in 1721. That has to be the biggest fortune in the history of medicine, right? The pharmaceutical industry has produced many gigantic fortunes in this country, notably the fortune created by Robert Wood Johnson and his brothers in 1885 when they started the Johnson & Johnson Company, which has produced many products that have saved lives and led to the creation of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, which has done many good deeds. And that fortune has provided for generation upon generation of some members of the class that used to be known as the idle rich. The person who introduced immunizations in America was born into a caste that was not allowed to profit from his wisdom, from his genius, or even from his labor. He was a slave owned by a minister in Boston, a slave who saved lives in Boston during the smallpox epidemic of 1721 when he described a procedure that he had undergone in Africa before his life was stolen from him on a slave ship. Pulitzer Prize winner Isabel Wilkerson tells this story in her new book, Caste, The Origins of Our Discontents. Quote, people in West Africa had discovered that they could fend off contagions by inoculating themselves with a specimen of fluid from an infected person. That is the knowledge that slave brought to Boston in 1721, where he saved dozens of lives because of one doctor who decided to try that method that the slave described. 30 years later, vaccinations based on that method, introduced by a slave, became the standard practice in Massachusetts and eventually the rest of the country. There is no charitable foundation named for that slave. His descendants were not born into lives where work was optional. The life-saving gift he gave us did not even earn him his freedom.